Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results and superstar spoilers. But first, you got happy birthdays going to Johnny Jeter, turned 34 years old. He was born December 14th, 1981. Jeter worked as a member of the Spirit Squad beginning in January 2006 after spending roughly 3 years under a developmental deal. Then he left the business in 2008. JYD, Junkyard Dogs, a.k.a. Sylvester Ritter, was born December 13th. 1952, he died at the age of 45 on June 2nd, 1998, where he was involved in a single car accident while returning home from his daughter's high school graduation. Sabu, aka real name Terry Brunk, turned 51 on Saturday. He was born December 12th, 1964. Ultimo Dragon, aka Yoshihiro Asai, turned 49 on Saturday. He was born December 12th, 1966. Continues to wrestle primarily in Japan. For the second pay-per-view in a row, there was a widespread WWE Network outage as the kickoff pre-show went on air. The network was running fine until WWE TLC pre-show went on the air, and then the stream finally came back on right before Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. But quick search on Twitter revealed a few thousand tweets about the network being down on platforms with a variety of error messages, such as my own with PS3 even froze. WWE announced there was 14,903 fans in attendance for the TLC pay-per-view, was sold out at TD Garden in Boston. Sasha Banks vs. Natalya was originally planned for the WWE TLC kickoff pre-show, but was nixed, possibly due to Natalya being off the WWE TV as of late. According to F4W Online, there may have been plans for Sasha vs. Natalya to first take place last month on the Survivor Series pre-show. For those who missed it last night, Sasha defeated Becky Lynch in the pre-show match. It was reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Wade Barrett is injured. He has still been backstage, but he's unable to do anything physical. No word yet on exactly what the injury or the severity of it was, but I'll keep you posted, and I did find some more news on that, according to PW Insider, where it is that Barrett is out with some kind of arm injury, but possibly a shoulder. Still no word on the severity of the injury or how long he will be out of action, but I'll keep you posted. Some more news I got. Barrett appeared on the WWE TLC pre-show segment with the League of Nations on Sunday, but did not appear when they came to the ring in the main event. Barrett also did not appear on the Live Raw, as you will hear in the results. As Ryan Satin from Pro Wrestling Sheet has confirmed Barrett is dealing with a nerve injury in his neck. No word yet on which match Barrett was hurt in, but he suffered a bad stinger earlier this month and has been resting up over the past few weeks. Thankfully, the injury isn't serious, but he's not expected to miss much time in the ring. And more news on that. Barrett's last match was at the Tribute to the Troops tapings, where he practiced in the 16-man main event. Barrett cleared up his status on Twitter today and said that he's taking some time off to rehab nerve damage in his neck. Barrett called it nothing major. And here are his tweets from @Wade Barrett. Rehabbing a little nerve damage in my neck at the moment. Hits a disappearing act. Nothing major, but not worth taking unnecessary risks. Thanks for the concern. In the meantime, I'll be playing at WWE Games. #WWE 2K16 live on Twitch tomorrow. Very badly, unfortunately. A new SmackDown announcer has been announced, and he's called the new voice of SmackDown, Mauro Ranallo. Prior to joining Showtime, Ranallo was the voice of Pride Fighting Championships and spent 6 years in Toronto, where he hosted Canada's first TV show dedicated to MMA while also hosting a daily combat sports radio show. He also worked with Renee Young when they worked on The Score. Former WWE superstar Chris Nowinski, who now runs the Concussion Legacy, foundation that WWE works with, was backstage for the TLC on last night. Nowinski lives in the Boston area. World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus tweeted another photo of the scars of his back after defeating Roman Reigns at the TLC. And I'll show you a picture back there for you. Tommy Dreamer worked last night's WWE TLC pay-per-view with a bad cold. Dreamer is booked for several upcoming WWE live events, 1 or 2 Raw events, and tweeted the following on his WWE status after TLC last night. At Tommy Dreamer, thanks at WWE Universe. It was awesome being back on TV. That agreement is done. See you on the live events. I love you guys so much. Hashtag WWE TLC. And he was on Raw, as you will see on the results later on in my video. Okay, Cody Rhodes revealed in his private Twitter account that he was examined for fractures at Roper Hospital in St. Charleston, South Carolina, after last Monday's Raw in the same city. He wrestled Jack Swagger that night and lost to during the Patriot lot. He wrote, "Thanks to all the folks at Roper Hospital for being so accommodating and efficient. No fractures." John Cena made a surprise and a cameo appearance, as you'll see in this video here, at the end of Daddy's Home, a new comedy from Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg that comes out on Christmas Day, December 25th. Ferrell and Wahlberg's characters have to battle it out in the movie to prove who is a better dad to a pair of kids. It's revealed that Cena is actually their father. During an interview with the Wall Street Journal, John Cena talked about his WWE future. Here's what he had to say. "I've always sworn to myself that if I can't keep up with the current level athletically, it's my time to take another role. Whether that's commentating on the matches or stepping behind the curtain and molding younger talent. I always want to do whatever I can to help the industry. I see firsthand how happy we make the kids and families when you get a kid to sit down and have a conversation with their Superman. It's the coolest thing. It makes their day. That's pretty cool. A unique thing." And you can read the entire interview at this link for you. I'll post it earlier in it. Former TNA knockout Terrel has a small role in the movie as well, playing a cheerleader who gets hit with a basketball by Farrel during an NBA game. The Wrestling DVD Network.com has revealed the title for WWE's 2016 DVD and Blu-ray on the Dudley Boys. Straight out of Dudleyville, the legacy of the Dudley Boys. The set will feature a documentary and is scheduled to be released in April 2016. I noted back in October that WWE was considering DVD and Blu-ray releases on Shane McMahon or the Best of the United States title for May 2016 to come out. Well, WrestlingDVDNetwork.com reports that the Shane McMahon set is apparently shelved for now, as the U.S. title DVD and Blu-ray is now confirmed for May. Ring of Honor has issued the following press release on yesterday, Sunday, regarding their working agreement with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla Promotion. Ring of Honor Wrestling announced today that they've entered into a strategic agreement with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla that enables exclusively contracted stars to compete on a select number of PWG shows per year in California. Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling have been developing NJPW could be New Jersey Pro Wrestling, developing a significant global relationship with New Japan for the past 2 years, and now Ring of Honor will work with PWG on the west coast of the United States. PWG is a fantastic company in California that both our fans and stars have always been passionate about, said Joe Koff. As we continue to grow the Ring of Honor brand and enter into exclusive agreements with our talent, we want all fans to continue enjoying the performance of the Ring of Honor stars in PWG. This alliance is great for both of our companies, the talent, and mostly important, the fans. With this agreement, wrestling fans can look forward to seeing such stars as Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, the Young Bucks, etc. compete at PWG shows, demonstrating to the West Coast why Ring of Honor is the best wrestling on the planet. More information will be made available on ROHWrestling.com and on Ring of Honor's social media channels, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Booker T's Reality of Wrestling episode 89 can be seen in this link. Former NXT wrestler Cal Bishop is training for the Olympics, according to ProWrestlingSheet.com. There was not a WWE segment last week either on ESPN about Jonathan Coachman, and he noted at the time that he was traveling for work and could not host the segment. He did not offer an explanation this week either, other than to add that they will be covering UFC 194 starting Monday night. Meanwhile, Bishop noted that he will be wrestling freestyle in the 125-kilogram division. Best of luck to him. TNA Impact Wrestling will air at 10 p.m. Central Time on Destination America on the regular schedule Wednesday night time, but just later at 10 p.m. Central Time. The network's website lists a Mountain Monsters Marathon is airing during Impact's previous time slot. Impact is not listed for the following Wednesday on Destination America, so that could be their last episode on Destination America in its history. It appears that Impact could be ending its run on Destination America this week, but the company has yet to issue any type of clarification on the matter. In fact, Impact is advertised on the TNA website as airing on December 23rd and December 30th in the usual time slot, but TNA will move to Pop TV with a live show on January 5th. Dark main event for Raw was advertised as Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Kevin Owens, which I did not get any results because I think from the celebration of the results from the event of Raw, there wasn't a dark match main event. Scott Stafford, Corey Graves, and David Otunga hosted the show from the WWE studios in Connecticut for the pre-show. They put over Callisto's Salida del Sol onto the ladder at TLC. And Graves said everyone was, from wrestlers to people in catering, were flipping out over the move backstage at the TLC. The Dudley, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino versus Wyatt Family in an 8-man Extreme Rules elimination match was announced for Raw. So, a rematch. Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler was announced for Raw. The host discussed the TLC main event and the aftermath with Roman Reigns attacking Triple H, probably getting fired. Stanford said that you can't go into any other job and do that to your boss. Otunga said you can't do that in this job either. Graves said Reigns will have to pay for it. They set up footage of Triple H being stretchered out of the building and Stephanie McMahon joining him in the ambulance. Graves endorsed the idea of firing Reigns for attacking Hunter. He said Triple H wasn't in the match and he didn't attack Reigns. He said he wasn't justifying what League of Nations did, but you can't lose your cool and take out a top-level executive in the company. And then Stanford announced that Roman Reigns will open Raw and intends to confront the League of Nations. The host spoke briefly about the Team ECW versus Wyatt Family match. Gray speculated that we could see one former ECW wrestler show up since they were in Philadelphia. Otunga said we might see a flaming table. The focus shifted to the Charlotte versus Paige match from TLC. And Graves defended Charlotte's actions from the pay-per-view, which worked against his balance on Reigns from earlier. The host then discussed Dean Ambrose beating Kevin Owens to win the Intercontinental title at TLC, and aired a backstage promo he did afterwards. The tag title ladder match was recapped. Broadcast team gushed over the high spots and several replays were shown. The host hyped the Slammy Awards for next Monday's Raw, which will be the Slammy Awards Raw. Then to close the show with the questions of the week segment, where they answer Twitter questions. WWE then announced the following categories as some of the nominees for the 2015 Slammy Awards: Superstar of the Year, Match of the Year, Diva of the Year, Breakout Star of the Year, LOL Moment of the Year, Extreme Moment of the Year, This Is Awesome Moment of the Year, OMG Shocking Moment of the Year, the Hero Award presented by Coca-Cola, Rivalry of the Year. Nominees are Roman Reigns versus Wyatt, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, John Cena versus Rusev, Team Bella versus Team Bad versus Team PCB, Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. Double Cross of the Year. Nominations were Jon Stewart costing John Cena the U.S. title at SummerSlam. Randy Orton turned on Seth Rollins from Raw March 9th, 2015. Paige attacked Charlotte and Becky Lynch from Raw on October 26th. Stardust turning on Goldust on Raw February 16th. Damien Mizdow eliminated The Miz from the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania. Surprise Return of the Year nominations are Chris Jericho at Night of Champions. Dudley Boyz return to Raw, the WWE on Raw. Sting returned on August 24th, Raw. Alberto Del Rio and Zeb Colter returning at WWE Hell in a Cell. And Dean McCain at Night of Champions. Best Original Network Show nominees are Breaking Ground, Table for Three, Stone Cold Podcast, WWE 24, and Swerved. WWE Tag Team of the Year nominations are New Day, Usos, Platinum Players, Tyson Kidd and Cesaro, who are both out of action right now, and the Lucha Dragons. Hashtag of the Year, of course, hashtag Give Divas a Chance, hashtag Save the Tables, hashtag Axelmania, hashtag RKO Out of Nowhere, hashtag Suplex City. And I believe you can do all your voting at WWE.com. Other Slammy Awards, Celebrity Moment of the Year. Nominees are Stephen Amell dives onto Stardust at SummerSlam. The Cats of Entourage introduced Zack Ryder. Kevin Owens powerbomb Machine Gun Kelly off the stage. Jon Stewart gets involved in John Cena's match at SummerSlam. Wayne Rooney slams King Barrett on Raw. Tell me you just didn't say that Moment of the Year. Nominations are Dean Ambrose calls Seth Rollins Justin Bieber on Raw. Seth Rollins calls Johnny Manziel Johnny Idiot Face on Raw. Brock Lesnar coins Suplex City at WrestleMania. Seth Rollins dissed Kane while celebrating the Authority's WrestleMania accomplishments. And the last one, Paige spoils Charlotte's Divas Championship celebration. Next was Best John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. John Cena versus Cesaro on July 6th Raw. John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler on October 12th Raw. John Cena versus Sami Zayn on May 4th Raw. John Cena versus Dean Ambrose on March 30th Raw. John Cena versus Neville on May 11th Raw. WWE is having fans vote by using hashtags on social media for some categories. Also, visit WWE.com. Others are to be determined by WWE app vote. Slammy Awards edition of Raw takes place on December 21st in Minneapolis. For more info, go to WWE.com. R-Truth has a video on Mr. McMahon promo, what he did after what he told him. He said exit the ring. Well, he goes and drives a limo that Vince rode into the event with. And you can see the proof in the video link. Superstars, spoilers for this week. Goldust defeated Adam Rose. Fandango defeated Heath Slater. And here's Raw. Well, look back at last night's TLC pay-per-view. How Roman Reigns destroyed Triple H after losing to the World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus. Live from Philadelphia. As Michael Coleslaw and welcomes us. He's joined by JBL and Byron Saxon. Lillian Garcia introduces Stephanie McMahon. Out she comes. Fans boo Stephanie as she takes the mic. She says she's just like all the fans except for the money and education. She's a wife and a mother and asks the fans to imagine how she felt watching her husband get beat up last night. She had to explain to her kids why Roman Reigns beat up Daddy. Stephanie is going cold-hearted and ruthless. She says Reigns attacked his boss and leaves her no other choice. Reigns' music hits and out he comes through the crowd. Reigns hits the ring and a thank you Roman chant starts from the crowd. He says he's a father too and today is his daughter's birthday. He gives her a shout out. Reigns says he doesn't feel bad about whipping Stephanie's husband's ass. Stephanie says Reigns has a lot of nerve coming out and wishing his daughter a happy birthday. Reigns tells her to go ahead and fire him if she's going to. She calls him a coward. Stephanie taunts him for failing to win the WWE World Heavyweight title again. She calls him a failure and a disgrace. Reigns says both Triple H and Stephanie are a disgrace. No, to her whole family is a disgrace. Stephanie gets heated as the crowd gets riled up. She slaps Reigns over and over again. Goes back and says one more thing. Oh, another big slap. She's not going to fire Reigns because Triple H asked her not to. However, someone is headed to the arena who might fire him. And that would be none other than Vincent Kennedy McMahon. As the crowd pops and Stephanie drops the mic, she leaves as Reigns looks on with some pretty bad marks on his face. Still to come segment, Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler, and we go to commercial. And that match is your first match. After the break, Dolph Ziggler comes out. New Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose is out next to a big pop. And this is a non-title match. They lock up and trade holds to start. Ambrose drops Ziggler as they run the ropes. Ziggler connects with a drop kick for a 2 count. And then Ziggler took Ambrose to the mat for a pair of 1 counts. Lots of back and forth action for several minutes. Then they have a stalemate as we go to commercial. Back from the break. Ambrose comes off the top, but Ziggler drop kicks him in midair and gets a 2 count. Ziggler misses in the corner with another kick, and Ambrose rolls him up for a 2 count. Ziggler counters a move and hits a famouser for a 2 count. Ambrose sidesteps a super kick and slams Ziggler on his face for a 2 count. Fan chant, "This is awesome," as Ambrose goes to the top rope. Ziggler runs up and gets sent back to the mat. Ambrose with a missile drop kick and a bulldog for another 2 count. More back and forth action as Ambrose breaks a sleeper hold, but runs into the ring post. Ziggler with a super kick, but Ambrose comes right back off the rope with a clothesline. Kevin Owens makes his way out and throws Ziggler to the floor for the disqualification, but after the bell, Owens grabs Ambrose and unloads with rights and lefts on him. Owens nails the pop-up powerbomb to mostly boos. Owens goes to ringside and brings in the Intercontinental belt in the ring. He drops it and hits another pop-up powerbomb as Ziggler runs back in and unloads on Owens. But Owens beats him down, and then Owens powerbombs Ziggler on top of Ambrose. Then we get a look back at Stephanie and Reigns from the opener. JBL knows Vince McMahon, and this might not end well tonight. They look back at the ladder match from the tag team titles match from TLC last night. And the New Day will speak later on tonight as we go back to the commercial. Back from the commercial, see what just happened. JoJo catches up with Owens backstage and says we know he's upset about losing the title. He cuts her off and says that she does not know. No one knows. Owens doesn't have to justify what he just did to JoJo or anybody. Owens says what we just saw was only the beginning. If we think Ambrose is a lunatic now, Owens won't stop until he drives Ambrose insane. He puts him in an institution and takes back the Intercontinental title. Here we go to the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer and Rhino somewhere in the back. Fans start chanting for ECW. They talk about coming back home to Philly. The segment features clips from their ECW days. Bubba Ray Dudley says that they're going to settle this in the same city they started. Devon says that they're taking Philly back to the extreme tonight. And just as he was about to say, "Oh, my brother, testify," they cut him off and go to commercial. Back from the break, and Stephanie McMahon is outside with an assistant waiting on Vince McMahon. She seems anxious and is pacing around, saying Vince will be here soon. R-Truth versus Bo Dallas is up next. Not much of a match here. R-Truth followed by Bo Dallas. They lock up and Bo takes Truth down. Goes to the floor and does a victory lap around the ring. And then we see a limousine pulling up. Outside, as we see it on the Titantron, The crowd's looking at that, and they stop the match themselves. Stephanie opens the door and steps out, and out comes Vince McMahon. Stephanie is ready to go do this, but Vince tells her to take care of her husband. He will take care of this. Vince walks off, and we come back to the match. Bo and Truth realize Vince is here, and talents were scattering backstage. They continue the match for a few minutes, but Vince's music hits, and out he comes to a big pop. Vince adjusts his suit and makes his way with a power walk to the ring like only Mr. McMahon can. Vince takes the mic and enters the ring. He says, "Stop the match," and tells Truth and Bo to get the hell out of his ring. Vince says there's someone in the locker room sweating profusely right now, wondering what Vince will say or do. What will it be like to stand in the presence of Vince and Kennedy McMahon? Vince compared himself to God. Vince goes to ringside, sits in a chair because he's the owner of WWE. And he says Reigns is going to sweat a little more tonight. And he sits back down in his chair ringside as we go to commercial. We'll come back from the break. Vince is still sitting in ringside. He yells to a crew member to just let the bastard sweat. Vince gets back up and re-enters the ring. Vince then tells Reigns to come out and take his medicine. Vince orders Reigns to get his ass out here. His music hits, and he makes his way out from the back instead of through the crowd. Vince understands that Reigns is intimidated because he has a presence about him. Vince says Reigns is standing here while his son-in-law is back in Connecticut suffering. Reigns smiles, and Vince doesn't like it. Vince tells Reigns to apologize before he makes his mind up. Reigns laughs and shakes his head. Mr. McMahon then tells Reigns to get down on his hands and knees to apologize. Well, and my thing, this was kind of like the Kiss My Ass Club thing. Well, Reigns shakes his head no. Vince says that there was a time when he would beat an apology out of Reigns. Reigns laughs, and Vince asks if Reigns thinks Vince can still do it. Vince puts the mic down and takes off his suit coat to a pop. And out comes World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus for an interruption to boos. Sheamus stops him and speaks from the stage. He apologizes to Vince for interrupting and thinks Vince could take Reigns, but he wants to be the one to beat the apology out of him. Sheamus says nobody should disrespect Vince or the McMahon family. And then the crowd chants, "You look stupid." And Sheamus says that they all paid to see him tonight. So who's the stupid one? Sheamus asks Vince if he can challenge Reigns tonight. Sheamus tells Reigns to wipe the smirk off his face. Sheamus talks more trash, and he's so confident he will put the title on the line again tonight. Fans pop. Vince asks the crowd if they want to see a title match, and they do. Vince says they all fall for that every time. And there's no chance in hell of that ever happening. Reigns stares Vince down as fans chant "asshole" at Vince. Reigns asks why not. Calls him an old man. Reigns says it sounds like Vince has an old shriveled up prune now instead of grapefruits. Reigns says Vince is 70 years old and time is passing him by. Then Vince calls him a son of a bitch. Vince says Reigns just got his match, but if he doesn't win tonight, he's fired. Vince then extends his hand for a shake, but kicks Reigns below the belt instead. We see Sheamus laughing on the stage. Vince makes his exit as his music hits, and he joins Sheamus as they walk off. Vince on the stage, they embrace. Vince poses with Sheamus, and they just taunt Reigns as he's holding his belly, and not his groin area, because he got kicked in the belly. Still to come segment, Wyatt family versus the ECW original match commercial. Rusev and Alberto Del Rio versus Ryback and Jack Swagger was up next. Back from the break, all four superstars were out. League of Nations have their own theme song now. Rusev and Ryback go at it to start the match. Ryback hit the big suplex for a 2 count. Swagger comes in and got control of Rusev. Swagger then with shoulder thrust in the corner and another tag back to Ryback. United States Champion Alberto Del Rio tagged in and worked over Ryback. Del Rio mounted Ryback with rights in the corner. Ryback came right back with a big suplex. Ryback ready for the meat hook clothesline, but decked Rusev on the apron. Del Rio with a running enziguri on Ryback for a 2 count. Rusev tagged back in and kept control up on the attack on Ryback. Rusev delivered kicks in the corner and then a tag to Del Rio. Del Rio with a drop kick to the face and a 2 count, which Del Rio kept control of Ryback and grounded. He tried to fight back but got cut off. They double team him. And Rusev connected with a drop kick as Lana looked on and applauded. Rusev kept Ryback down on the mat. Momentarily, Ryback followed out, but Rusev kneed him. Ryback with a belly-to-belly suplex out of nowhere. Swagger gets a hot tag and unloaded on Rusev. Taking a shot at Del Rio on the apron. Swagger with a big slam and a Swagger bomb on Rusev. Rusev got his feet up, and Swagger turns it into a Patriot lock, but Del Rio broke the hold with a backstabber. Ryback with a big boot on Del Rio. Rusev got sent Ryback to the floor. Then Del Rio super kicked Swagger while the referee was distracted by Lana. Then Rusev follows up with another super kick on Swagger for the win. After the match, Rusev and Del Rio celebrated with Lana at ringside as Ryback tended to Swagger and just looked on. Still the Cubs segment. Reigns versus Sheamus with a title, and Reigns' job on the line. Back to commercial. We come back and get another Adam Rose was gossip segment. He says Becky Lynch is worried Charlotte is being like her father, but says she still has to get 16 world titles and 4 divorces to be like him. He also knocked how Tommy Dreamer looked and reminds us that the dirt is always in bloom. Tyler Breeze versus Neville was up next. Out comes Tyler Breeze, making his entrance with Summer Rae. Neville was out next. Before the bell, The Miz comes out telling everyone to be quiet on the set. He's barking orders and apparently just directing things. He sits at ringside and calls action. As we get the bell ringing, back and forth during the match, Breeze dropped Neville with a kick as Miz keeps yelling at ringside. Breeze unloaded on Neville in the corner. Thanks to the distraction, Miz tried to get a Neville chant going, but Summer comes over to yell at him. Breeze takes Neville back to the corner for the shoulder thrust. Neville starts making a comeback, but gets cut off. He ends up connecting with a big kick to the mouth and going up top for the Red Arrow and the win. After the match, Miz seemed to be taking credit for the win, but Neville mouths back at him. That ended that little part. Still to come, the New Day will speak. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Neville is backstage arguing with The Miz. He tells Neville to imagine the next Star Wars movie with him in it. Cracking a joke on his Dumbo ears, Miz says he can make Neville a star, just like he made Daniel Bryan a star. Miz says he has heard Hollywood is looking for a new James Bond and says that could be him, but he needs to borrow Neville's accent. Neville threatens to shove a lightsaber where the sun doesn't shine if Miz doesn't quit with the games. And that ends that segment. Then they had a promo cut with the Wyatt family somewhere in the back. They're going to bury the ECW originals in the same city they were born. Wyatt tells them to run. Extreme Rules Tag Team match. Bubba Ray, Dudley, Devon Dudley, Rhino and Tommy Dreamer versus Bray Wyatt. Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan. We go to the ring out. First comes the Dudleys. Then Rhino and Tommy Dreamer to a big pop as we go to commercial. Back from the break, the Wyatt family are all coming out. They surround the ECWs in the ring as the fans chant for tables. A huge brawl breaks out. Dreamer and Wyatt go at it. Rhino and Strowman go at it. Wyatt does Dreamer, but he brings a trash can full of weapons back in. Bubba with a trash can shot on Harper. Dreamer and Rhino work over Wyatt and Braun with weapons on the floor. Devon with a kendo stick shot to Rowan on the floor. Dreamer throws more weapons in the ring. ECW originals take control. And the fan chant for ECW. Braun fights Bubba off. And the Wyatts turn it around. Rowan and Bubba go at it in the ring. Bubba gets the upper hand with a kendo stick shot. He slams Rowan and Devon goes up top for the big headbutt. Bubba calls for the tables. Harper drops Devon with a super kick. And Bubba with a big boot. Harper then goes up top. But Dreamer beats him down with a kendo stick. Dreamer jumps off the apron onto Braun. Bubba climbs up for a superplex on Harper, but Rowan comes over and gets involved. Harper ends up brought to the mat on top of a chair as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, the Wyatts are in control of Team ECW. Wyatts fight everyone off after whipping Bray into a trash can. Dreamer joins in and they make a comeback. Bubba turns Harper upside down in the corner for Tree of Woe, places the trash can over his face. Dreamer charges and drop kicks the trash can. Bubba tosses Wyatt over the barrier into the crowd. Braun charges at Bubba, but he moved and Braun goes through the air and over the announce table. Bubba fights Wyatt on the other side of the barrier. Wyatt knocks him back over the barrier. We see Harper trying to powerbomb Dreamer off the stage. Dreamer blocks him and hits the driver off the stage through two tables, and they are both out. They both crash to the table, and holy shit chant breaks out from the crowd. Fans chant, "This is awesome," as Bubba and Wyatt brawl through the other side of the arena. Braun comes over to assist. Dreamer evens the odds and beats on Braun with a kendo stick. Braun takes every shot and scoops Dreamer. Braun runs with Dreamer, and they go crashing through the barrier into another crazy spot. Another big holy shit ECW chant starts. Bubba fights Wyatt back to ringside and takes apart the announce table. Bubba hits Bray with the top of the table. Rowan and Harper double team Bubba with kendo sticks. Then Rowan works over Rhino and beats him with a chair. Harper unloaded on Devon and hits Bubba with a stick. Bubba comes right back and brawls with Harper. Devon gets involved and Harper nails him with a big boot on Bubba. Harper kicks Devon in the face and sets up a table in the ring. Devon blocked a powerbomb through the table and they put Harper through it with a 3D. They cover, but Wyatt pulls Devon out of the ring and breaks the pin. Wyatt delivers Sister Abigail on the floor on Devon. Wyatt smacked Bubba in the face with a trash can lid. Bubba turns around to a spin kick from Rowan. Rhino with a belly on Rowan. Rhino goes for the gore, but Rowan knees him. Wyatt comes up with a Sister Abigail on Rhino. Another "This is awesome" chant starts. As they put Rhino on top of a table, Rowan goes to the top and splashes Rhino through the table for the win. After the match, Wyatt family poses over Rhino as the other ECW's originals start to recover on the outside. Let's go out and come back onto the announcers standing at their table. We're going to look back at Reigns and Stephanie from the opening part of Raw. Then the segment with Vince and Reigns is still to come. Reigns versus Sheamus. Also, New Day was beat by the commercial. Back from the break, Tag Team Champions New Day. Kofi Kingston is limping. And Big E looks beat up too. Xavier says they don't feel like partying tonight. They show some stills from last night's ladder match. Kofi says he woke up feeling like he got hit by a Mack truck. Fans chant for the New Day. Kofi says that their bumps and bruises have bumps and bruises. Big E says surviving a match like that will change your perspective on some things. He calls the Usos to the ring so they can talk and say it's all love and they mean no harm. Usos come to the ring. Kofi says they are not here to fight. They're not even in gear. Wood says the Usos earned their respect after last night and they want to bury the hatchet. Wood says that they want a truce. They extend their hands to shake as the Usos ask if they're serious. Big E calls the Lucha Dragons out next. And here they come. Kofi gives Sakara and Calissa props for what they did in last night's match. And says they are his son's favorite tag team. Kofi says everyone will agree that Calissa is one of the toughest WWE superstars in the history of the business. Calissa says that was a nice speech. But what about Woods throwing a trombone at his back while he was climbing the ladder last night? Woods says he can't change the past at what happened in the heat of the moment, but he can't offer an apology. Calissa after Usos believe that. Uso has heard better apologies from his 3-year-old. Woods says that all three teams took it to the next level at TLC, and no one can ever take that from them. Wood says that there's what's more important is that they all did it for the fans. which is all three teams haven't seen eye to eye lately, but they want to extend this. They offer handshakes to both team members. Uso says that he must have been he hit his head too hard last night as well. And then they all shook hands with the New Day. New Day then tells fans to give it up for both teams, and then they leave. Which says they were completely sincere about everything they just said, but tonight is about the boys. They suddenly go into mode as Woods brags about them still being champions. Their music hits and the celebration begins. Usos and Lucha Dragons return to the ring from the stage, and they unload on the New Day. Fans boo as they kick the New Day out of the ring. Usos' music hits, and they stand tall with the Lucha Dragons. Still to come segment, Charlotte and Becky Lynch with Ric Flair versus Brie Bella and Alicia Fox match commercial. Brie and Alicia versus Charlotte and Becky Lynch was up next. Back from the break, Team Bad watches from the crowd as Brie Bella awaits in the ring with Alicia. Charlotte and Becky and Lynch were out next with Ric Flair. Brie takes control of Charlotte early on and keeps her in the corner. Brie with Charlotte while she's on her knees. Brie with a big kick for a 2 count. Becky comes in and goes at it with Alicia. Becky doesn't see Flair trip Alicia up, leading to Becky applying to disarm her for the win. After the match, Becky celebrates with Flair and Charlotte, still not realizing that Flair helped them win. Still to come segment, Reigns versus Sheamus match commercial. Then we got another look at what what led to the main event. Vince is shown backstage talking to Del Rio, Rusev, and Sheamus. So I was looking for something to happen in the main event, and you'll see what happened. Job versus title match is a stipulation. Roman versus Sheamus. We come back and Vince McMahon makes his way out to watch the match from ringside. Sheamus was out first as Vince stands and applauds him. Reigns was out next to the crowd. If Reigns loses the match, Vince will fire him. We get formal ring introductions and they go out to start. Sheamus still has several marks on his back from TLC. Well, it's easy to see. He's white skinned. Reigns gets dumped to the floor early on but comes back in. Sheamus with a rolling senton for a 2 count. They go back to the floor and Sheamus sends Reigns into the ring post. Sheamus slams Reigns on the top of the announce table as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Sheamus has Reigns down on the mat. Reigns finally powers out, but they're both down. They get up and trade huge shots. Reigns with a clothesline and a big right hand off the ropes. Reigns ends up hitting a drive-by. They come back in, and Reigns goes down in the corner after Sheamus nails him. Vince yells at Sheamus to get him. Sheamus goes up top, but Reigns climbs up with him. Reigns hits a super Samoa drop from the second rope for a close 2 count. Sheamus fights back and hits a high knee on the apron and rolls Reigns up for a close 2 count. Sheamus hits an Irish Curse backbreaker for a 2 count. Sheamus then goes for the white noise, but Reigns counters. Reigns with a one-arm sit-down powerbomb for a 2 count as Vince almost loses it at ringside. Sheamus blocks a Superman punch and powerbombs Reigns for another 2 count. Vince is up out of his chair again. Sheamus keeps control and goes for the cloverleaf. Reigns fights it, but Sheamus gets it locked in as Vince looks on. More back and forth. Sheamus runs into a Superman punch for the 3 count, but Vince pulls the referee to the floor, so there's no count. Reigns was busted open by a headbutt. Reigns is distracted, allowing Sheamus to send Reigns into the ring post. Vince sends the referee back in as Sheamus hits the white noise, but Reigns still kicks out at 2. Vince talks with the referee on the apron, arguing with him. At this point, Sheamus kicks Reigns out of the ring. Alberto Del Rio runs down, but Reigns nails him. Rusev drops Reigns. Rusev rolled Reigns back in. Reigns hits a Superman punch, sending him off the apron. Reigns ducks a brogue kick. Reigns hits a Superman punch on Vince, leaving him laying on the apron, while Sheamus nails a brogue kick, but Reigns still kicks out at 2. Sheamus goes for the brogue kick again, but Reigns spears him for the win. And new champion. After the match, crowd goes nuts as Reigns grabs the title and begins to celebrate. We go to replays as Reigns kicks Vince's limp body off the apron and continues to celebrate. Raw goes off the air with the new World Heavyweight Champion clutching his title. After Raw went off the air in Philadelphia, Usos joined with Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose to celebrate with the World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. And here's a posting of what actually happened on YouTube. And it was also on WWE.com, I believe, posting the video. And what happened in the video is Roman cut a promo talking about what a difference a year can make. Talking about the reaction he received at the 2015 Royal Rumble. He said that inspired him to work harder. He then wished his daughter at home a happy birthday and celebrated with fans in the show. As noted, the Usos and WWE Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose celebrated with the new World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns after last night's Raw went off the air. And a photo that I'll post with the Usos raising Reigns up, taken by third generation family member Lance Anoa'i. WWE's website has a new poll asking what was the more humiliating punishment for his attack on Triple H, getting kicked in the groin by Mr. McMahon or getting repeatedly slapped by Stephanie McMahon. As of this writing, 64% went with getting with this video was getting a low blow from Vince. As seen in the next link, in this other link, as WWE posted footage of new World Heavyweight Champion Reigns speaking to the crowd in Philadelphia after last night's Raw went off the air. Reigns said, "All right, y'all better stop or I'm going to cry again. For real though, it wasn't that long ago at Royal Rumble, y'all know what it was. It was rough, but a lot of my progression and a lot of my focus and motivation came from that night. So in a weird hindsight way, thank you so much, guys. Life ain't fair, and sometimes you gotta get kicked in the ass to get better, and that's what happened. And that's why we're here now. Thank you so much. I'll never forget tonight." Reigns then wished his daughter a happy birthday and continued the celebration, and sent the crowd home happy. Thanks again for watching my video. Peace out. God bless. See you on my video. If you don't know, you better call me, bro and sisters.